Domo, Atsenpai desu. Have you ever tried eating cereal without milk? Yes, it's very bland.
It's fucking disgusting.
It's like drawing a character portrait without a background. You see, background is like spice. No matter how flavorful your character is, it cannot truly shine without a background. Which is why drawing a good background is really important, because it helps to accentuate the character's main qualities. However, the background is a double-edged sword. If drawn poorly, it's like putting pineapple on pizza. Absolutely disastrous. So if you want to learn how to draw a good background, allow me to share with you Kohai's Chef Luke's anime-style background design. Luke Sensei is a master when it comes to drawing atmospheric anime-style backgrounds with immersive perspectives. He is a freelance illustrator and his current work mainly consists of background illustrations. In his course, he will teach you how to create backgrounds that have an atmospheric sense, allowing you to feel temperature, time, weather, mood from the background alone. This course solely focuses on composition and perspective, which are the two most important aspects when drawing a good anime background according to Luke Sensei. Well, it's not like other aspects like lighting are not important. What he's saying is if your background has a good composition and an accurate perspective, it can significantly increase the base level of your artwork. Think of it as an RPG game. With good composition and perspective, your character starts out with good primary stats. Other aspects like lighting are just gears that increase your secondary stats. On a further note, this course is spoken in English, so you won't have to activate your Sharingan when watching the lectures. Luke Sensei's anime-style background design consists of 4 different sections which are orientation, composition, perspective, layout. The course is relatively short but compact. Allow me to show you the content of this course. In section 1, orientation, Luke Sensei gave a summary on what you will gain from this course. He then shared where to find his reference like Google Street View and Pinterest. He also recommended some background illustration art books that are helpful. Moving on to section 2, composition. In this section, we learn the logic behind composing an artwork. The main lesson is to teach you how to structure your artwork and bring out the main highlight of the artwork to its fullest. For example, you're drawing a background with a house, and the house is the main highlight of the artwork. Luke Sensei calls it the main dish of the artwork. The specific art term for this is focal point. As an artist, our job is to arrange the objects within the artwork so that the house shines the most. So how can we make this arrangement? Before revealing the answers, you have to first understand how the gaze flow works. Our gaze moves from big objects to small objects, and they will travel in lines. We always find the biggest item to look at first. It's just our nature. Sorry ladies. This logic applies to shapes as well, like the triangle for example. Since the bottom of the triangle has a larger base, our gaze flow will inadvertently start from the bottom first, and then move to the tip of the triangle. Let's take a look at one of the examples, and I'll explain it to you better. The transmission tower has a triangular shape, so the focal point will start from here and move to the top. Next is the power cables. They start from the left to the right, forming another triangle here. This new triangle will then create a secondary focal point to the transmission tower behind. Our gaze will either travel down and back up again to create an infinite loop, or the gaze will travel up to the clouds and back to the transmission tower. The grass is also drawn in a triangular shape as well, and this forces the viewers to look up. Basically, there's a vision loop happening and it keeps the audience occupied for a longer period, which in turn creates a long-lasting impression of the artwork. The second important tip is to leave some empty spaces in your artwork. You don't want your artwork to look cluttered. Here's an example. Can you Kohais find the mystic in this artwork? The mystic is the placement of the pillar itself. Compare these two pictures. See the difference? If we move the pillar to the side, it reveals the empty space and creates a better and more comfortable vision loop. The specific art term for this is called negative space. Just remember to leave some empty spaces with purpose when drawing the background. So the two main lessons of creating a good background artwork are: start by drawing big objects, then small ones to utilize the triangle vision loop effect. Leave some empty space. Now, how can we arrange the objects? Well, imagine it like a territory game. You claim the area with the big objects first and work around it. Using this as an example, you claim the big spot first at the right bottom of the canvas, then add the second object, third object, and so on. The scenery will change depending on where you claim your territory. If we claim one more territory here at the top right of the canvas, the scenery changes from a mountain view to a cliff view. Remember to leave some space though. Here are some territory game examples demonstrated by Luke Sensei. Next, you also get to learn 3 different composition techniques. The first one is called the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is very simple. You divide the frame into 9 equal rectangles, 2 vertical lines, and 2 horizontal lines. The idea is to place the focal point of the picture along one of the lines, or the point where 2 lines intersect. Your focal point could be something like a mountain, a tree, etc. The next one is called the centered composition, which is one of the most common composition techniques. As simple as it sounds, you just place the most important object in the middle. That's it. The last one is called the golden ratio composition. Just like how the universe can be explained by math and physics, it's not so surprising that a good composition can be explained by numbers as well. This is the golden ratio composition. Usually, we will put the focal point at the center of the spiral, and the rest should follow the arc of the spiral. If you don't know what type of composition you want to go for, the golden ratio is like your last resort. I've made a video about composition techniques before. Anyone who is interested can click this card right here. In the next section, we'll be learning the basic perspective techniques. I mean, at this point, I've made quite many perspective related videos, so I don't want to bore you guys with more perspective theories like what's the eye level, vanishing points, 1 to 3 points perspective, etc. I mean, you Kohais should know that by now. So I'm going to cut straight to the point on how we can implement those knowledge into drawing anime backgrounds. Firstly, take a look at this example. This is a background with a 3 points perspective because it has 3 vanishing points. If you notice, the vanishing points are super far away and they are out of the frame. This is one of the more practical and common techniques. But if you want your drawing to look more dramatic, you can put one of the vanishing points inside the frame. Next, Luke Sensei will show you some of his illustration examples and share his go-to perspective type and eye level. In the last section, you get to learn how to utilize perspective when creating an illustration. Firstly, you need to prepare a 1-point perspective grid, and then you can start sketching. Luke Sensei suggests not to use any perspective grid first, just sketch freely using the territory gained from earlier and the leave it blank technique. After that, bring the grid into your sketch and redraw it with the correct perspective. Some of the lines might be wrong during your sketching phase, and that's okay. You can correct those mistakes after you place the grid. And ta-da! It's done. With all the knowledge I've learned from this course, it really transformed my drawing. Like how Auntie Esther transformed an $11 ramen into gourmet food. So this is my attempt to draw a simple scenery artwork. I used the territory game method to claim the areas with big objects and then work around them. Since I wanted to draw a quiet Japanese themed garden, all the vanishing points are placed very far away so that it's more spacious. Also, I make sure to leave some negative space so that it gives off a more zen atmosphere. Finally, I add my character into the scenery and the draft is done. I don't draw a lot of scenery backgrounds. I mean, why draw leaves and trees when I can draw melons? Big melons. So for such a simpleton like me, Luke Sensei's class definitely helped me out a lot. For those who want to improve their anime background drawing, you should give this class a try. I know drawing melons is important, but so are the mountains, rivers, and trees. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down below to sign up. Feel free to support me on Patreon, I really appreciate it. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter. DM me if you want a commission from me. Alright, that's all from me. Ja na, Kohais.